The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, everyone. Would like to welcome you back to another KevCAM night school tonight. Tonight have Shay, one of our newer account managers, here to help out with any questions or concerns for you guys. Shay, you with us?
I absolutely am. Hello, everybody.
And then, of course, we can't forget to bring Greg in here to make sure I'm staying on cue with you guys and make sure I'm covering all the subjects. So, Greg, you with us too?
Good evening, everybody.
So, I do see a couple new names in here, so I'll just kind of go through housekeeping real quick. We do use, obviously, GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar for these night classes. What that does do is put everyone on mute just to eliminate any background noise. But if you guys do have questions, there is a questions panel for you. And definitely type those in there, as these classes are solely dedicated for you guys and as a learning. Now, all the night classes are being recorded. So if you want to come back and take a peek and see maybe on something maybe you missed or something like that, you guys can come over to the SolidCAM University or type in KevCAM, and all of our SolidCAM lives are in here, our SolidCAM night classes in here, tips and tricks. There's, I think I counted like 480 videos in here on pretty much how to do anything with that software. So definitely a great place to come check it out here. Now, before I put you guys to sleep, let's get rolling with 3D engraving. Now, tonight it's going to be a little bit shorter of a night just because there's not a whole lot to talk about with 3D engraving, but one thing that actually Scott Neal, one of our applications engineers here, showed or wanted me to show you guys is we left off last week doing the engraving on a fourth axis. Now, what we were able to do with that wrap geometry is basically what we did here is created a funeral ring, or I guess some people call it a marriage ring, but I call it a funeral ring. And what you guys can do is you can do engraving on an entire ring like that. So in the operation, and I'll just kind of run through this real quick on this particular one because we already kind of covered the wrapped, but you just grab your geometry and I can show. So we have our geometry lines coming all the way through here and use that as a wrap function using a standard engraving tool. Levels, upper level is set to the upper diameter, and we can click anywhere on that upper diameter. So it doesn't have to be right on the top of the Z. And that's because if you guys were with us last week, when we turned on that wrap functionality, it knows that pretty much anywhere I click on the outer diameter, that's going to be our upper level. And then we told it to engrave 10th thou deep. As well as on the technology, tool side left, just doing a single pass there. And when we go to simulate this now, we'll do this in Solid Verify. It actually turns out pretty cool. So I'll play it through pretty slow here. And we'll let it just kind of go. So there's the first line. Now it's coming back and doing that second line. Come back and do the third line. And now coming in there and doing the fourth line. And you get that nice little wedding band engraving in there. And it turns out pretty cool. And basically all we had to do is take that sketch and we'll kind of get on that tonight as well, but is create that sketch in a standard flat plane. So we didn't have to wrap it right to the face at all. And then the distance between this line and this line is the entire diameter of our circle there. So just kind of kept it contained into those boundaries. And that way, when it goes to wrap it on there, all the geometry will line up just perfect. So
now you're talking about the circumference, right, Calvin?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, circumference. Sorry. See, that's why I got to have Greg here. So any questions on doing, like I said, a little bit of a refresh using the 2D engraving with the wrap functionality there? Okay. So now getting on to the 3D. Like I said, this one is going to be a little bit shorter than last week's, but We'll hop over there real quick. And what I'm doing is pulling up a pretty surface part here that has a lot of different surfaces on there, only just a few flat areas. Now, how this was done in the past is what you'd have to do is come into your SolidWorks and actually get that sketch to be projected on there. With the 3D engraving, you don't need to do that at all anymore. And what you can do is just put it on a plane that is above everything else, and then let the software do the work of projecting it onto that surface. So kind of get going here, what I can do is I'll just throw a sketch just on the top of this stock. So I'm just come in here, we'll do a quick sketch, and we'll just say SolidCAM. And of course, I'm going to do my single line font like we talked about last week, and which is going to be the DPS Drift. So now I can come in here, I can click where I would like that to be in there. I can space it out. Oops. And now it will put it just on that flat plane wherever I'm looking at in there. So right now it's kind of a little tough to see because I can't see basically what's underneath there. So what I can do is we can just cancel out of that real quick, and we can just do a standard sketch right on maybe our front plane right here. So we'll go back and do our SolidCAM again. And we'll use our font as DPS Drift. Now, if I get this part rotated around here, and let's say I want it, somewhere where we're going to get a good 3D representation of what's going on. And I probably should do a top-down view. And I can place it right there. Looks good. Space it out just a little bit. So now we can exit out of that sketch, and you can see that that SolidCAM sketch is just kind of floating. Well, not floating, but it's fixed in there, but it is way above the part at this time. So now we want to engrave that, and we want to project that engraving down onto that full 3D curve right here. So go to your SolidCAM 3D tab, click on Engraving, and now instead of doing 2D engraving, we're going to pick the option for 3D engraving. So at this point, it's asking us at the top right here, where do we want this projected to? So right now it is based off my target, and maybe if you have multiple targets on that, you can just hit the new button and we can just click anywhere on that part so it grabs that target. If you guys are just working with this one single target like we are right here, we should just leave it right at target. And then the engraving geometry. So what do we want to engrave? So we can go ahead and hit new. And kind of like what we talked about last week is we can do our multi-chain and grab our text that way. Or if you didn't even want to have this text on there inside of your SolidWorks file, you guys could just come right in here and do the text and do the way that we showed last week. So come in here, we'll do our text, grab our SolidCAM geometry here. Everything looks good. And I'm going to grab a pretty sharp, pointy engraver here. But this, like we were talking last week, you guys can use an engraving tool, a ball end mill, a spot drill, center drill, whatever works for you guys. Now, since we are going all off of a 3D surface, I can't really just click and tell it how deep to go. So what it's going to do is it's going to look at our SolidWorks model and find out what the lowest depth is on there. And then all I have to do is just tell it I want to go maybe 3 thou deep. Okay. Now on technology, I'm just going to do center line just because we're doing that single line font. So our tool is going to follow right along center of this actual sketch file here that's being projected down. And once we're good with that, we can go ahead and save and calculate. And now you can see the actual text is being projected down. Now it looks a little bit funny here because we told it that we wanted to go 3 thou deep. So we're not able to see the entire engraving unless if we were to come and switch it over to this display state view, and then we can see our geometry that's going in there. But for right now, we'll go ahead and just do a simulate. And we can go ahead and do our solid verify. So like I said, this really takes out all the hard work for everyone. So that way you're not having to do all this stuff right inside SolidWorks as projecting it onto a surface. And a lot of times it might be multiple surfaces that you're projecting that text to. So at least this way, you can just throw a text up in the air and SolidCAM does all the work for you guys that way. Okay. So we can go ahead and play this through here. If I zoom in here, we can see it's following the exact geometry that we told it. So we wanted to project that sketch onto this complete radius here as it's going through. And that's exactly what we did. Now, at any one point in time, if we want to go deeper, we can just definitely come in here and let's go real deep. And the nice thing about this too is what we're seeing in Solid Verify is exactly what you guys are going to see on the machine. So definitely play it through to make sure this is exactly what you're looking for here. But now, at least I'm going a little bit deeper here. And this does work for part numbers, especially is what we see it useful for, but that option is there to do text, numbers. You guys do have the option if you want to do like a bold font or a bubble font, you can do that also. Now, what else I want to show you here is I want to throw that same engraving text around this horseshoe in here. So we got a complete 3D surface in there. So we'll go ahead and close out of here for a second. And we'll do that same sketch that we were working on before with the top plane. Is that our top plane? Nope. Front plane here. And we'll go ahead and do another sketch. Now for this one, basically what I want it to do is I want it to follow this curvature of this horseshoe right here. So first thing what I'm gonna do is come in here and do a convert entities and just get a line in there. So now, if I come in and do my text, I can tell it that text that I want it to follow that horseshoe. So I can click on that arc and we can come in here and do our SolidCAM engraving again. And this one I'll do, we can leave, I guess we could leave it at that one, and let's go ahead and just space it out a little bit so we can utilize that entire horseshoe area. So you can see, if I do a straight down view, we do have SolidCAM in there. Go ahead and hop out of that sketch real quick. And we'll go right back to our engraving again. And same thing, switch it over to 3D engraving. It's using our target model. And I just need to grab my text geometry. So I can come in here, do our multi-chain text, grab our geometry there, go ahead and accept that. And we'll go ahead and grab that same engraving tool there. Levels, like I said before. So we'll go ahead and do maybe 5 thou deep on this one. Technology, I'm going to keep it right on center. So basically that center of that tool is going to be following the curvature of each letter. And we can go ahead and play that through. Get kind of zoomed in here. Now you guys will see that it's starting with the L, and that's just based off of how it picked the chains in there. If I wanted to start in sequential order, so if I wanted to start with S, all I would have to do is move around those chains, and I'll actually show you that right here. So if we go to our geometry and we edit that, and what I can do is, you got to find which each chain is. Maybe I can't. Actually, let me check one other place here. There we go. So if I wanted to go in sequential order, now what I can do in here is my chain 10, I want at the top, so I can click and drag that. Oh, maybe not. Trying to copy and paste, but that's not working either. Okay, so it looks like we're kind of stuck with the order that it's going in there. But now that is pretty much it for the 3D. Now, like I said, you guys can do this on any curved surface. If you guys want to do it on a flat surface, you can also do that. There is going to be no difference between those two. Now, to get the 3D engraving, you will need SolidCAM 3D or higher. Otherwise, you guys will just be stuck in the 2D. So if you guys are coming in here and doing you want to do a 3D engraving, but the option is not there, that's because you just need to talk to your account manager and they can get that added in there for you. So the question just came in from Greg is, can it do serial numbers? And absolutely. Now, there's two different ways, because this has been asked in the past, of doing serial numbers. We'll just do this. Let's do a serial number here. And like I said, we'll come over here, do a sketch. And I'll do a convert entities, and maybe I'll just throw a serial number on this edge right there. Come in here, grab that, and we'll just say 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now, and can I drag this just a little bit over? There we go. And I'm going to space these letters out just a little bit more, or numbers. Okay, hop out of here real quick. And we'll go ahead and do our engraving, 3D engraving. Grab that. And we just want a 2,000 engraving. Put it over center. Now go and simulate. And maybe for this one, I would want, if it's a full 3D surface, and the reason it looks deeper right here is because when I just kind of did a rough cut of this, I still have a lot of material. still hanging in there. Is why it looks deeper right there. But obviously this would be nice contoured all the way through with a even depth in there. Now, to the second part of this doing serial numbers is it being sequential. A lot of times we want customers would like to do sequential starting at 1, 2, 3. The next part it does engraving 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 6, and that can be done, and that's actually in the miscellaneous parameters. But this is something that would need to be set up by your post processor guy, and the only thing that we would need from you guys is what that macro code is for your machine. Because if you get into the Hercos, the Haas's, I think the Mazaks have the sequential ordering and stuff like that, so you can do it that way as well as doing, if you wanted to do like every 4-part number or every 4 parts that you did through an engraving operation. I was told that can be done also. So does that kind of help answer your question there, Greg? Excellent. Anyone else have any other questions?
Now, one thing that I'd like to see, and this is going to be mostly for the guys that didn't have a chance to catch the class from last night, is maybe go over the technology options for the fill of this engraving path if you have pocketed geometries.
Sure. So
it's going to be a little bit redundant for the people that watched last week, but you're going to see a lot of the same functionality extended through to the 3D engraving.
Yes, absolutely. So what we can do in here is, let's say, because we are running a bold font for the center section here, is we could do our fill area and we could set it up as a contour. We can do a hatch or middle line only. Now, middle line only would be basically doing a center line throughout the entire thing there. But if we did a hatch pattern in there, and this is pretty cool, what you can do in here is we can put an angle in there, and you can put a specific pattern of going back and forth in there. So let's go ahead and save and calculate. Oh, step over. We'll just do it as, see if we do 10 thou here. So you can see the hatch pattern in there. And actually, let's just do a solid verify so you guys get a better representation of this. And we'll speed this guy up here. So you can see it's doing an exact hatch pattern. And like I said, we can switch this over to do a contour style pattern in there too. But if you guys have a large bold font, and we kind of covered this last week, but what you can do is actually make a diamond plate style or a knurled style for your lettering in there. So if we'll let this play through here, but you can see I have all my lines going back and forth this way. So now if I'm trying to achieve that, I just left my brain, going for that knurled surface there, then all we have to do is I'll pause this, and I'm going to switch this over to maybe 100 thou, step over. And let's just kind of see how it looks real quick. And it's a little too much. Okay, so I got my lines going this way. So now if I'm trying to achieve that knurled surface look, what you can do is come in here, make an exact copy of what we just did. Now instead of doing 90, we can do 270. And let's see.
You went with a collinear angle to like 90 and 180.
Oh, it's like, what am I missing here? There we go. So now, if we go ahead and play this through in Solid Verify, we'll go ahead and zoom in here so we can see our hatch pattern going the one way. Now, we'll play it through going the opposite way. If we come in here, it's a little tough to see, but it's giving it that full knurled looking surface in there. So we did, one way, then the opposite way, or 90 degrees from that opposite, can't talk today, 90 degrees from that original, and that's going to give us that knurled look in there. Now, the cool thing, and it got asked last week after the class was over, is do I have to, they do make engraving tools where you don't use any spindle RPM, so it's basically scratching the surface. And that can be done. If you guys go into your tool and data, obviously we cannot put a 0 in there for a spindle RPM. So if you guys do run across where you ever do this, I can't remember who came up with the question, but it's more of a scratch engraving style. Just go ahead and talk to your account manager about getting the post to be able to get that RPM put at 0, or go ahead and put a ticket in, and then they can get that changed in there for you. Can it look like a dot pen without killing the machine? Ooh, so I'm guessing, Greg, you're kind of looking for almost like a drilling operation, and it comes through and does almost like a ball peen. If you're doing like with a an actual engraving machine, is that what you're saying? Where it goes up and down really quick with a small little ball peen?
Yeah, I'd imagine it looks like a dot matrix printer.
So if we go to, I guess I've never tried it. We did actually, let me hop out of here. I'm just going to ditch the no, because it's going to stay down. The only other way I think that we could do this, and it would be more for a flat surface. So let's try it. What do we got to lose, right? Oops, and then I clicked the wrong button to close out of there. I think we can do what you're looking for, Greg, in a pocket operation. And sorry, guys, I'll have to find it here, that one from last week. Okay, so let's try it. And for that one, it's not going to be an engraving op. That we're going to do is, which is a pocket. Geometry. It's going to be your S. And we'll go ahead and grab that spot drill. Levels, upper level, right here. Pocket depth. Actually, no, up here. Pocket depth 5 thou. Good with that. Technology, we're going to switch it over to plunge. Follow the stock. Maybe I'm not allowed to do it with a spot drill. Oh, it says we can. No, it's definitely not liking. Unless Greg, you can think of any other way of going about that. Technology plunge back.
No, nothing's coming to mind.
Finish floor only.
I mean, short of putting in the geometry for each one, but
Yeah.
there would be better ways of doing that engraving than
Yeah.
on the mill at that point.
If you wanted to get that kind of look, Greg, what we could do is come in here, do a drilling, and pick position. We'll come in here. It's not even letting me because I'm following a delete all. Let's try this one up here. My mouse wasn't able to keep up. Five. And actually, let's go through. And this kind of goes back to, I don't know if you guys seen that, but that was the, actually, let's do that. Simulate. Here is the diamond plate kind of look, or the neural look that we're going for on that 3D surface. But what we'll do is come in here. Let's drag all these operations down. So there's the crude way of going about it, but there is no easy way to come in there and just add a bunch of single line dots unless you guys wanted to put that in there as your geometry. So there may be a way to do it with plane, but
here.
Yep.
Possibly using, yeah, it'll probably have to be saved for another night class or maybe a follow-up with Greg. But if you're using the SolidWorks tools where you can pattern along a curve,
yeah,
to take that geometry and fill that pattern.
Sure. Yep.
That might be another way of getting the geometry easy to the parts, and then using the tool paths that you're showing.
Okay. I'm going to give this one more shot here. This one, this would have worked, but all right. I'm going to grab that S. Okay. Tool select. Let's do it as end mill here.
I think Greg deserves some SolidCAM swag for the Stump the Jump question.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like I know there's a way to do it. Plunging pattern, drill cycle. I think I should have changed my overlap to something much smaller than 80%. Because I think we're going to get a ton of toolpath now. Now, this is something that if you guys do have I guess you guys could chuck up a center punch and do this. I'm not sure how well it would work with your spindle, but you could put that 0 RPM in there and do it this way also. But just because I got to get Greg's question answered here, we can do her. Well, while this is calculating, because we're going to have about 1.5 million points in here. Any other questions that anyone can think of? Right, tool with a diameter. Yep, that's what I got in there, Victor. Yeah, great idea. So basically what I'm doing is I'm telling it we're just using a flat end mill. That's 10 thou. But 10 thou with the 80% overlap and the sketch being pretty large, there's going to be a lot of points in here. So you guys can set that overlap up to much more. All right. Any other questions that I can answer for you guys? Don't see anything coming through here. One thing I do want to kind of point out, because Greg did mention getting some swag. If you guys do have a question or a topic, that you guys would like to see, send those over to me via email, and we'll get those addressed right away and do a night class on it. And if you guys feel comfortable with sending me a part that you don't mind that other people see, definitely send those over. Like I said, Greg and I have been doing these night classes for, what is it, 6 years now, 5 years now? And the well is getting a little dry. So we'll just say it that. But definitely, if you guys do have questions or something that you would like to see in the night class, definitely send those over to me via email. And then coming up in the next week, we are going to be covering the pocket recognition next week. And I'm kind of, it's been, like I said, about 5 years since we've kind of covered some of this stuff, and there is a lot that has changed over the last 5 years with all this new technology. So I'm kind of going through and revamping it. But like I said, if you guys do have ideas, I'll definitely get those put in over everything else. So. All right, Greg, you got anything else before we? Oh, look at that! It calculated.
Every 2 thou.
Yeah. So let's just do a simulate real quick, and I'm gonna play it through if this takes a while. Yeah, we got way too much of an overlap there. And if I do, let's just do like a 200%. Actually, let's do 1,000% overlap. So I can only do 100. So.
Well, you want that to be a small value.
Oh wait, no, yeah, I want that to be small. That's right. Can I do 0.01? Decimal with a percentage. There we go. Let's try something a little bit smaller. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in here. So it's being shown right now as a flat, but this would be basically a bunch of points that would be going in there. So Greg, if you want to do it that way, you definitely, the option is there to do that. Might not be the most best of the time, but like I said, that option is there for you guys. So it can be done. But I guess, sorry, Greg, can I cut you off there? Anything else that I'm missing before we wrap it up here?
Just as a wrap up, tonight's class was going over the 3D engraving option or toolpath. There are other ways of doing 3D engraving in other toolpaths. but those will be covered in another night class. For instance, HSS, user-defined projection, can also be used as a way of doing 3D engraving. Or if we were looking at the other part that Kevin was doing earlier tonight, if you'd wanted to use your 5-axis to control the tilt angle and still do some 3D engraving, the multi-axis toolpaths would allow you to do that as well. But those will be gone over in a different night class.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, so if you guys wanted, so as we're coming down in that 3D surface, let's say, you know, at an angle, and obviously that tool is coming down at the angle of that surface. So like what Greg was saying is we can come in with that 5-axis and come in 90 degrees right to that surface, and we'll definitely be showing you guys that in the future as well. So, all right, well, we had a great attendance tonight, so I love seeing all these people in here and all the new people in here. Thanks for joining, for those of you guys that are new, and thanks for the returning guys. Like I said, these classes are just for you guys, so if there's something you want to see or don't want to see, or hate us or love us, whatever you want, send that over to me in the email. We'll take the good with the bad, but with that being said, we'll wrap it up for tonight, and we will talk to you guys next Tuesday night at the same time. All right, everyone, have a great night.